In today's video, I'm once again going to be reacting to your wishlist items for autumn. I did this a few months ago and it was fun to film, so I thought I would do it again for autumn, as that's often the season where we have the most wishlist items. So I put out a story on my Instagram a few weeks ago and quite a few of you submitted your wishlist items to me to react to. So I'm going to get straight into it, and if you want to be involved in the next video like this, make sure to follow me over on Instagram. Starting from the bottom, working my way up to the top, the first submission is a rouge handbag. I have to say, with my rouge bag, my basket bag, I'm really happy with it. I think it's really nice. I did get it for half price on Vinted though, so I would say definitely check secondhand sites first, because there are quite a few, at least in the UK, there are a decent amount of rouge bags on Vestiaire and on Vinted. I've seen a few of them in the past, and I would say it's the kind of bag that I do really like the style of. The design is usually really cute, but the price point is a little steep for the quality in my opinion. So if you can get it at a slight discount, they quite often do sales on rouge. In fact, I think they have a sale going on at the moment, their end of summer sale, and there's a few bags in there. So it depends what style you want, but I would definitely try and get it secondhand or on sale, because although they are really nice, you can definitely get higher quality bags for a similar price. Next submission, knee-high boots. This is an easy yes for me. I feel like knee-high boots in the autumn-winter are one of the best style upgrades you can make. Definitely an investment because they're a lot of leather or a lot of suede, but honestly, it completely transformed my wardrobe once I bought a pair, because suddenly I had so many more styling options for my skirts and dresses in the autumn-winter. They keep you warm, they are chic, and I just feel like they elevate skirts and dresses. I feel like a skirt or a dress with an ankle boot it can just sometimes feel a little bit awkward because of the different cut-offs on your leg, a little bit dated perhaps, especially if it's a midi or maxi length, and I just feel like it's so seamless to wear a knee boot underneath those. So I would definitely recommend them. Depends where you want to get them, but I highly recommend duo boots if you want a custom fit. Someone else has also said suede boots / loafers. I love suede. I wear suede in the autumn winter. Yes, you kind of have to pick and choose the days you wear it on. It's not something you can really wear every day in the UK. You can't guarantee that you're going to be able to wear it on a particular day, unless you don't mind just spraying it with a protector and hoping for the best. But I tend to pick and choose the days I wear my suede boots on to make sure they don't get too wet. But you know, there are still plenty of days in the UK in autumn winter where it is dry. So I would say if you can have one pair of leather boots and then one pair of suede boots, you'll be absolutely fine. I wouldn't recommend having your only pair of boots being suede though, because otherwise that's obviously a little bit limiting. In terms of boots versus loafers, I just much prefer boots in the autumn winter. I think they're more versatile, I think they're more practical, and don't get me wrong, I do like a loafer, but if I was going to choose one or the other to get in suede, it would probably be a boot. A dress to layer over long sleeves, so not a specific item but just a general category. I really like this look. I'm thinking particularly of the Nissia dress by Suzanne. They just brought that out in the plaid or the gingham. It's like a houndstooth, I guess. I really like this look. I love that long sleeve with, like, I'm thinking of like a pinafore dress or a shift dress or a dungaree, like overall dress. Looks best like that, and I think it's great. I think it's a nice way to get some more versatility out of a dress like that, wear it in a colder season, and just have like a layered look, which also always feels more interesting. Someone's asked about the ballet flats, the Mary Janes in the picture, which are these, but they're saying if they were more of a muted and darker red, definitely check out the anonymous Copenhagen ones there that I spoke about in my last video. They're a burgundy red and they're a very similar style, so you might be interested in those. But yeah, I have actually decided to keep the Suzanne ones. I was umming and ahhing, and I know a lot of people said to return them to get the burgundy, the anonymous ones instead. But honestly, I have quite a lot of burgundy in my wardrobe already. I have burgundy boots, and I just wanted something in a true red for a change to go with my Vivette bag, and just to bring like a brighter pop of red to my outfit. So I did decide to keep them, and actually, although I said I wasn't sure if they were comfortable, they do feel really comfortable. I've worn them out once already and they didn't give me blisters. So I think they're actually quite good. The Coach Brooklyn 28 bag, I think that's like the shoulder bag version, isn't it? Coach to me is a brand that never really excites me. Don't get me wrong, I've heard good things about their quality for the price point. I think generally if you want to invest in a mid-range bag, I don't think Coach is a bad choice at all. And if you're in the US, it might be a lot easier to get now with tariffs and everything. You might be paying way too much to get something from a Parisian or an Italian brand. But to me, it's just not as exciting. I don't know if it's just because it's an American brand or it's been around for a long time. But personally, I do prefer to go to the smaller French brands, Parisian brands, Italian brands for for my leather goods, just because I find them a little bit more unique, a little bit more, you don't see them everywhere, whereas the Coach 28 is obviously popular for a reason. It's a great bag, but you do see a lot of them. I see them in real life especially, but also on social media obviously. The Suzanne Maxime vest, I did look this up before the video, and it's like a knitted, I think it's 44% polyamide vest. So although I would say I like the style, I think it's nice for layering. If you wear a lot of white shirts or the kind of like frilly white blouses that Suzanne make, then I do think it looks really cute layered over those. It's a nice option for autumn, but I was quite surprised to see that it was 44% polyamide. Usually their blends are like 25 to 30% polyamide, and then the rest is like mohair, alpaca, merino wool. So this one is almost 50%, which I think is a little bit too much personally. I would be looking for something, like I said, that either is 100% natural fibres or is a smaller percentage synthetic. I think you can get better. I would definitely shop around. Look at brands like, I know Ise Paris often do vests like this. I'll try and find a few and link them down below. Someone has said, I hope Ateliers Auguste bring back the burgundy or croc brown Monceau bag. Yeah, that is a great bag if you're looking for a Celine box bag inspired style. Very classic, it's never gonna date. And I agree, burgundy and croc brown are my favourite shades to wear in autumn. Hopefully they have brought it back. I will leave a link down below if I find that it's available. I'm very curious about new Flora dresses and tops. Yes, this is a brand I've heard of as well. If you're in the sphere of liking Christy Dawn, Doen, those kind of brands, you've probably heard of new Flora because they have a similar aesthetic, but they are much, much cheaper. And they are, I think, an ethical brand as well, a sustainable brand. They use natural fibres, linens, cottons, that kind of thing. When I looked at their website, I have to say the styles do feel reminiscent of Christy Dawn and Doen. I just don't find them quite as interesting. And obviously the price point is like a third to a quarter of those brands, so it is to be expected that the designs aren't quite as intricate, the patterns aren't quite as interesting to me. But yeah, I don't know, they fall a little bit flat to me personally, but that is just because of my style. I like something that's a little bit more colourful, patterned, intricate, whereas if you like quite minimal but feminine style, you'd probably really like New Flora. And I have heard good things about the quality. It's just the colours are all quite muted. It has that kind of what I describe as like the 2016 to 2018 minimal aesthetic, where everything was linen, everything was brown, and everything just felt a little bit drab in my opinion, and that's what New Flora kind of reminds me of. But again, that is a personal preference to do with aesthetic. If you like more minimal muted colours, if you like simpler patterns, then I think they could be a really good budget option. The Betty and Coral Red, yeah, stunning. I really like the Betty and Coral Red, even though a coral red isn't a shade I normally go for. I was actually weirdly tempted by it the other day, but I think if it's in your colour palette or colour you enjoy wearing, absolutely. Would recommend the Betty still, although I don't own it. I think it's a great cardigan, and I think it's, you know, it's a lot of people's favourites for a reason. A fall midi dress, that's quite vague. Definitely, I mean, I think a midi dress is fantastic in fall, as I said earlier, with boots. If you can get a leather pair of knee-high boots or a suede pair of knee-high boots, I honestly don't think there's a better outfit if you like that boho feminine style. In terms of brands, I mean, Doen and Christy Dawn are my go-tos, but for cheaper, I think Suzanne had a couple of nice dresses in their latest drop. You could also look at Rouge if you like that very like kind of retro Parisian look. I think Rouge do that really well, and they do a lot of midi lengths also. So yeah, I would say definitely, if you don't have one already, definitely worth investing in. The wheel jacket in the multicoloured houndstooth. Let me just check which one that is. Okay, so it's like the brown and red houndstooth one. I really like the pattern. I think that pattern is a timeless design for autumn. Yeah, I mean, it's quite like a traditional, almost like British country style, but if that's your vibe, I do like it. I will say every time I try the wheel jacket, I'm just a bit like, I never keep it. I always end up sending it back, and I've tried it a couple of times in different variations. But for me, it always is a little bit, I don't know, it's a little bit long for my preference. And I also find that the pockets tend to sag after a little while. You find a lot of the ones that you see on Vinted, if they've been worn a few times, the pockets are quite saggy and it just doesn't look very good. So that's why I've never invested in a wheel jacket. But I know, again, it's a lot of people's favourite for a reason. So if you really like it, go for it. The Madewell Greta Ballet Flat, I've been obsessed for so long. I have these, I still really like them. I would definitely recommend them. They're a great like affordable option for a ballet flat or a Mary Jane. I will say when you're wearing them, they're really comfortable. They don't require any breaking in terms of the leather is really soft. They've never given me blisters, but the strap across the foot, because it's elastic, it's quite tight. And after a while, if you're wearing them for a few hours, it does start to dig in just a little bit and irritate your skin a little bit, and it leaves a mark when you take them off because it's sort of tight on your foot. So something to bear in mind. But I mean, overall, they're a great pair of shoes, and I think the price point is really good. And I know they come in quite a lot of different colours as well, which is nice. So yeah, I would definitely recommend them if you're on the fence. But if you want something maybe a little bit more premium, again, you could check out something like the Anonymous ones, which are probably about twice the price. So maybe out of budget. But if you want something that doesn't have that effect, doesn't have that elastic, and is a little bit more elevated, then they could be a good option also. Bright red scarf for my trench coat. Yes, I love bright red pops at the moment. I think it's definitely the way I'm going. I love burgundy, but bright red, especially against that camel shade of a classic trench coat, I think is such a stunning combination. Absolutely. I would just personally get it in either wool or cotton or merino wool rather than something like alpaca or mohair, because I just find those so itchy in scarf form because they're around your neck. But otherwise, absolutely yes. The Suzanne Theodora boots in chocolate. Let me just remind myself which ones those are. Okay, they're the tall pointed toe. I don't know if they come in chocolate anymore though, because they're just coming up in, oh yeah, they are. Oh, they're gorgeous. Absolutely. These are kind of similar to a pair I have from Duo Boots. They have like kind of like an almond round toe. The heel height is quite high. It's probably about the same as the ones I have from Duo though, and I do wear those quite often. So yeah, I would just say, are you someone who wears a heel height that high on a regular basis? Or would you be better with something with a smaller heel or no heel? Just trying to think, because they are like £300, so it's a big wardrobe investment. So how often are you actually going to wear them? If you're used to wearing heels on a daily basis, then probably fine. If you only wear flats and you're suddenly going to buy those, I would probably think of something that's a smaller heel height. The upcoming Christy Dawn dresses, a red dress and a cream green dress with lace. Yes, I've seen both of these from the new collection. I have to say, the new Christy Dawn collection, I did really like it. There were actually quite a few pieces I liked, but not so much the dresses. I think the dresses were okay. There weren't any that really stood out to me from the collection this time around. I actually really liked the skirts and the knitwear instead this time. Some of the cardigans, the Nola, but also the other one that looks like the Nola, but it's striped. That one was beautiful. I loved the skirts with the scallop edging as well. I was very tempted by those. In terms of the dresses, the red dress is really pretty. I think that one is probably my favourite of the two. I just don't want another puff sleeve dress, especially for autumn. My only thing is, are you going to wear that kind of shorter puff sleeve in autumn? Because they're a little bit tricky to layer undercoats and jackets because of the puff. And also obviously they're a little bit cold maybe to wear on their own. You could probably layer something like the Nola cardigan over them. And then the cream green dress, that was a little bit too muted for my liking. It was a little bit too cottagecore. However, I have seen some girls styling it on Instagram and it looking absolutely amazing. So I think it depends on your aesthetic, your colours, your like just your vibe, your hair colour, that kind of thing. Because I've seen some women pull it off really well, but I don't think it would look right on me. The curated classic coat in chocolate melange. Not sure if I should replace my camel one. Ooh, that is a question I've asked myself for the last couple of years as well. It's kind of a painful pill to swallow though, right? Because you spent so much on the camel one, but actually the chocolate one, I agree, I prefer the colour of as well. It's really difficult. It depends how much the colour is a deal breaker to you. I think if you're just like, oh, I slightly prefer the chocolate, then I probably wouldn't bother because it is so much money. However, if you're like, no, I absolutely love my cooler tones, my chocolates over my camels, I'd wear it so much more, then maybe go for it. Because it's something I've wrestled with before as well. I do wish I'd got the chocolate over the camel, but I don't think it was available. I don't think it existed when I bought mine, because I bought mine way back in 2022. So yeah, that's a tough one. And also the price of those coats has gone up drastically. I don't know if you've seen, but when I bought mine, I think it was like £400 and now they're about 550 or something like that. So it's going to cost you a decent chunk more to repurchase it as well. Nice and simple, this one, a brown suede bag. I don't think you can go wrong with a brown suede bag. Obviously Suzanne released those, I think the Gary bag, is that the name of it? I can't remember. Today, the bucket bag style. I personally prefer the Prisa Wang one that I got in my last video, one of my last videos. I'll leave a picture up there, but I'll leave a picture of it on screen. Love it. This is like a perfect bag to me. Honestly, if I designed a suede bag, it would be pretty close to this. I think it's really, really great. So yeah, if you're interested, and they do the two different shades of brown as well, the warmer one and the cooler one. So they cater to everyone really, which I think is really good. The Betty belt from Flattered in brown suede. Let me see. very classic belt. I really like it. It's 135. I would say look on And Other Stories though, because this looks like a belt you could probably get from And Other Stories for half the price, maybe even less than half the price. Got hair on my lip. I mean, it's lovely. If you can get a discount, I know Flattered quite often do discounts as well. So yeah, I would say it's a great buy, but maybe something you could find cheaper elsewhere for just the same quality. Someone has posted a picture of the Studio by Charlotte. It's the Chloe leather clutch in cream. I spoke about this brand in one of my videos a month or two ago, and there were definitely mixed opinions on this brand because they are obviously inspired quite heavily by Hermes, and they have bags that are quite similar to, this one's very similar to the Hermes Kelly bag. I personally really like it. I mean, I don't really have a problem with brands copying Hermes to a certain extent because I just think Hermes is so out of reach that, you know, the majority of people, it's not even that we can't afford it, it's that we're not offered it. Like, you have to be offered a bag. I mean, yeah, you have to be invited to spend money, which I think is a ludicrous concept. So even though I'm mostly against copying between brands, even though it does happen at all levels, I don't mind it so much with Hermes, I have to say, because they're just so out of reach. And I think this is a really nice, simple design. It's classic, it's timeless. The quality looks really good. They are made in England, which is so hard to come by. So I think you're supporting a small business. Why not? I do have a referral code. I think it gets you like 20 or 25 pounds off if you're interested. I'll leave it linked down below. That is most of them. I think I've missed a couple. Bobbies Mado ballerinas. Let me check. There's so much footwear today. Everyone wants to buy footwear for fall, I guess. Oh, these ones. I have these on my wish list as well. Well, they were on my wish list until I got the Suzanne ones. Yes, I really like these. I think these are probably a higher quality version of the Suzanne ones that I just bought. They're very similar. The buckle looks like it may be slightly better quality, but they have that kind of squared off toe instead of the more almond toe of the Suzanne ones. I really like them. I think these are a definite yes. The chocolate colour especially, which is the one you asked about, they are gorgeous. 185 is actually quite similar to the Suzanne price as well. I thought they were more expensive, but that's only, I think that's £20 more expensive than the Suzanne ones, which isn't as much as I thought. So I would say go for them. Someone has asked about a brand called M. Jemmy, a Mary Jane. I've actually never heard of this brand before, which is saying something because I spend a lot of time looking at clothes. But yeah, I've never heard of this brand. It looks like it's maybe a Spanish brand or an Italian brand. Oof, my languages are terrible. So these, I think these are the ones you're asking about. It could actually be a different pair, but I'm just looking at a Mary Jane on their website. So these are, I mean, they look really well made. They are quite expensive though, $328. I have to say, I don't love the pointed toe on them. I feel like it looks a little bit elf-like. I think some women could pull this off, like it could look very chic. On someone who has a very sleek kind of clean cut kind of style, you know, with sleek lines, minimal silhouettes, I feel like they could pull this off. If I wore these, I would look like an elf, a Christmas elf, especially in the red. But maybe they have other styles which don't have the pointed toe, I'm not sure. But yeah, I would probably go for something else, more like the Bobbies ones from the previous slide. They're also cheaper. But I mean, if you like a pointed toe, you like a pointed toe. But these ones look very pointy, very like a snout, but each to their own. And the last one I'm seeing is another brand I've never heard of, Adex Salerno bag. Ugh, there's too many words I don't understand. Let me Google it. I have never heard of this brand again. This is like a Bottega inspired bag. I like it. It's really nice. I don't know what the quality's like because I've never heard of this brand, but on first impressions, in the burgundy especially, I really like the woven leather. I mean, I love a woven leather bag, but yeah, where is it made? Let me see. It doesn't actually say where it's made, but maybe it does say on there about me. I don't know, I always get like nervous when brands don't put where something is made on the item description because I just think that's a bare minimum piece of information, but maybe it's obvious, maybe they're an Italian brand so it's obvious. I'm not sure. Let me know either way, but yeah, I mean the look of it is really pretty. I think that is everything. I think we got through pretty much all of them. I hope you enjoyed. I like these just chatty videos where we can talk about clothes, and obviously my advice is not even advice, it's just purely my opinion. Take it with a grain of salt. I have no authority on this, it's purely just what I think. feel free to completely ignore what I say and go in the opposite direction. That is totally just as valid. It's all just a bit of fun, purely for entertainment purposes. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know if you would like to continue to see more of these videos, maybe every couple of months or so. I can always ask for submissions again on my Instagram stories, so make sure you follow me over there if you're not already. I will leave some more videos on screen if you're not done watching. Otherwise, I hope you're all doing really well, and I will see you very soon in my next video.